Hello, my name is Max Verstappen and I'll take you around for a lap around Spa-Francorchamps. So here we are starting the lap at Spa-Francorchamps. The very first corner is a very tight hairpin. Braking is very difficult because you run low downforce, but then again it's all about the exit because you have such a long straight ahead, so whatever you can gain there you will gain the whole straight. Then one of the most famous corners, Rouge, very fast, flat out, trying to minimize the steering angle, and then you open your DRS on the back straight. For me, it was very special to drive there because you see a lot of orange on the left, so it's very cool to see. Late braking around 70 meters into the very fast right-hander with a combination to the left and the right, so you have to really find your way through the corners because it's all linked to each other. Running onto the exit curb. Braking is a downhill hairpin, so again front locking is possible. Try to keep a tight line and prepare again for the next left-hander, which is downhill again, where you then again run very wide over the exit curb. Then this is one of the coolest corners of the tracks, very fast left-hander, 7 gear, almost flat out, using all the road available. And yeah, arriving to the next sequence is the right-hander, 5th gear, keeping it in the middle for the left-hander, and running wide onto the curb. Then this one is again all about the exit, the right-hander, because there's a very long straight ahead because this right kink is flat out for us in the F1 car. So it's all about trying to get the exit right. And then you arrive onto a very long straight. We're very close to Belgian right now, which is also again a very fast corner, flat out, around 300 kilometers an hour. And here's a very difficult braking, a bit of bumps, so easy to front lock. This is off camera, so easy to lose the rear, and then it's here again, difficult traction, but trying to get the best possible exit. And that's a lap around Spa.
Welcome back, and thanks for joining us once again here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. On tap today, season finale for season number 2 here for the Formula I drivers here at the Belgian Grand Prix. Spa is the name of the track. That is where we are at, where all the action will unfold here today. Patrick Charlton only needing to finish up in the top 7 or so to secure himself a championship. So we will take a real fast look at our point standings here. There you see Patrick Charlton leading Cody Sandwith by 11 points. Thomas Ziegler right there within striking distance as well. Gonna be pretty tough for Mark Bruning or Jason Siemens to come away with the championship this year. Those two in a tight battle. A lot of tight battles throughout the rest of the field as well. So this race will determine a lot of the way things end up and shake out for these drivers here at the end of season number 2. Also, looks like the Constructors' Championship is pretty much in the bag for Radar Racing. Atomic Peak and Siemens Privateer right there with each other, as well as On Target Racing. Mark Bruning, creator of the Blonde Bullet, he is a member of that On Target Racing team. Just about 2 minutes left here to go, so we will see if anybody's out there doing anything. See a few cars out there on track right now. Looks like a few drivers shaking out their machines before we get set to go qualifying here today. 30-minute open qualifying. So a lot of action yet to be had before we get set to go. Green Flag Racing, one of our crane cameras around the track here today for you at Spa. And, you know, I'm going to go ahead and apologize ahead of time. I may have messed up joining the session the way I did. So, hopefully, qualifying pans out the way that I am hoping it to. If not, we will just kind of have to deal with it. So, I mean, that's the best I know to do at this point in time. But anyways, nothing for you fans out there to worry about. You will still see all of the great racing action here at Spa for the Formula I Belgian Grand Prix Season 2 finale here on Turn 3 Racing Network. Right now, we are riding around track up in one of our drone cameras. That is the 2 of Florian Needle that you see right there making his way around the track. Gonna check in, see if we see anybody else out there. Looks like Patrick Charlton is out there on track, making a few laps as well. Mark Bruning in the 61 machine. That Blonde Bullet has been fast the past few races. Wonder how it's gonna shake out for him towards the end of this happy hour. Only about a minute or so left. But there you see it. On top of the leaderboard right now in happy hour is your championship front runner, Patrick Charlton. So trying to make it easy on himself, win the race. And there's no doubt he's going to walk away as the season number 2 champion here for Formula I. 30 seconds left in happy hour. So there's not much left for these drivers. Some of them may get an extra lap here crossing the line right there. Looks like Mark Bruning, as well as I believe that may be Danny Hoekstra right behind him. Yes, it is. Hoekstra being able to squeeze a little bit more track time out of this thing here, as happy hour is coming to a close now. And as I spoke about already, hopefully, and it doesn't look like it's going to work out very well for me, and that's going to probably irritate me a little bit. But we'll see about it, see what happens. And haha, would you looky, on board nose of the 2 machine of Florian Needle as he lets Thomas Ziegler go by. We'll ride around with these drivers on their opening laps here in qualifying. As I already said, 30 minutes of open qualifying, so all the drivers out on track as many times as they want. So you have to time and engage where your competition is to not what's the word I'm looking for here? Not be detrimental to your lap. I was trying to think of something and my brain went stupid all of a sudden. You know how that happens sometimes. Anyways, Edgar Santinelli in the 257 coming around the hairpin as well now. Mark Bruning just behind them. Austin in the 136. Also out on track, Danny Hoekstra, Richard Swavely, Lyndall McMurphy, and Calvin is also out there on track. Haven't seen Calvin very much out there this season. Glad he could get that 19 machine out there on track. Gonna jump up and look at, man, trying to, whoa, if we can get through the trees. Here we go. This man on screen right here, Thomas Ziegler, he has a shot, as well as Cody Sandwith, but Sandwith was not going to be able to make it to the track this weekend. Unfortunate for him. So that's going to leave the one man that can do anything with Patrick Charlton, the man on screen right here. Man on top of the leaderboard right now, working just over 26 minutes left here in qualifying. Thomas Ziegler in his 79 machine has got a mission to accomplish. He's going to have to win the race and take a point for, I believe it's the fastest lap. And then Patrick is going to have a little bit of an off day and finish in 8th place or worse for it to work out for Thomas. So he's going to have to set himself up front and take the race into his hands, so to speak, not try to fall into anybody else's strategy. And he's just going to have to go out there and get the job done by winning the race. Though Charlton may choose to play it safe, we will have to find out. Looking through the field, gonna jump back with the 9 machine of Danny Hoekstra as he's making his way around this very, very large track here at Spa. And there's a total of 19 turns here at Spa. A lot of off-camber track, corners, I should say, tracks. A lot of off-camber moments in the track, going around specific corners, especially the last hairpin that we're going to see Hoekstra make his way to here momentarily. A few more corners for him to get to that point on track, but that's a very tough, under a lot of braking, going into the final right-hander, and then you got a left-hander just after it, immediately after it, and the traction coming off of that corner can be hard to find. I for one have had a lot of wheel spin coming off of these final corners here. And there you see Hoekstra hard into the brakes on that right to left-hander. Gets the power down pretty well and is able to accelerate off the corner pretty decently. So great job by Hoekstra as he slots himself all the way up in second here in qualifying. And yeah, I know it's got my name up there. I don't know why. And if I'm not mistaken, it's probably because I stole the 91 number from Danny Hoekstra this weekend, because I felt like coming in the race for some reason. Instead of just walking up to the booth, I decided I'd roll my car out there on the paddock for a second and then realized I wasn't here to race. So, usually the 91 is the 9 of Danny. Is Danny Hoekstra. Sorry again about that, buddy, but you know, we all forget things, and I forget more than most. So we'll just roll with the punches. You know how that goes. Edgar Santinelli in the 257, slotted in the 6th position right now, just a little over 4 seconds behind fastest man on track, the 79 of Thomas Ziegler. He's got about a 2.5 second gap or distance between himself and Hoekstra. So, and field looks a little bit covered right now, but we do have a few drivers yet to make their first time lap. This gentleman right here in the 8 machine, Carlos Cotal, hasn't laid down a lap just yet, or hasn't put in a timed lap, I should say, as if you run a little wide here in the Formula I track, off-track incidents do negate your qualifying time. So you may put down a flyer, but if you exceed the track limits ever so slightly, that lap time may be disallowed. So I don't know. Great onboard shot here from the nose of the 8 machine of Carlos Cotal as he's making his way around. I believe that's turns maybe 13 and 14. A big long straightaway here. Gonna have a right-hander to a more of a little bit tighter right-hander there. Left-hander, I should say. Then you're going to come down here with all of this speed on the brakes hard. Right back to the left. Try to put the power down. Runs very wide. That's probably going to cost him a little bit of time. Not going on to the speed charts as that lap. So we'll, in a little bit of moment there for Cotal. So we'll jump on board with your speed charts leader here in qualifying. Thomas Ziegler in the 79, still holding just a little bit over a 2-second gap now. Hoekstra was able to close that distance, and we'll go back now to this one machine of Jason Siemens and ride along with him one time around this great track here at Spa. Caught a little bit of curb there on turn 19, but pretty solid lap out there for Jason Siemens. He's going to slot all the way up into the 3rd position. Now we'll get a little bit more of some great onboard action when we jump on board with, I tell you what, let's go up to the man on 2nd position. Oh, Patrick Charlton with a bit of a moment, so we'll have to look at Edgar Santinelli now. Sitting in the pits. Looks like Lyndall McMurphy also out on a flyer now, so we'll join him for his laps. See where it takes us. Car looking very good, very stable through these sweeping corners, these fast corners. Oh, just a little bit of contact with those right side tires on the grass. Not going to affect them too much. Hits the apex very well. Now back hard on the brakes. Oh, big moment. Big big moment for McMurphy, and he's going to head down pit road. Huge moment for him. Man, that could have been very, very bad. Let's see if we can't jump on board now with the 8 of Carlos Cotal as he's making his way back around the track. He is slotted in the 10th position as we run. And something about a Carlos right there around that front stretch area just doesn't seem to sync up very well for him. Oh, big moment. He's going to choose to get off track. We'll now look at some of the drivers just sitting on the paddock. Looks like Austin in that 136 machine. He's going to start to head out on track. So we'll join and watch him for a few of his laps from one of our crane cams. Newer camera style here for us at Turn 3 Racing Network, but it should provide and bring some great racing action here today from a little bit different of a perspective than what we are normally used to. A lot of drivers out there on track right now with Austin. Looks like the 38 of Richard Swavely. Mark Bruning also out there on track. And I tell you what, haven't gave this man a lot of time here today. He's going to tell me, don't worry about giving him the time. But got to give a huge shout out here to the driver we are watching from multiple cameras around this great track here at Spa, the 61 of Mark Bruning, co-creator of The Blonde Bullet, available on Amazon.com. Go ahead, check it out. Support one of your fellow iRacers with, go check it out. It's a motorsports comic book. It's a female driver, so that adds in another great little aspect to his comic book and what he's got going on. Go out and support him. It's a great thing. Mark and the Blonde Bullet have been the sole sponsors here for the Formula I Season 2 with us here at Turn 3 Racing Network in partnership with Next Gen Racing Productions. Mark going through Eau Rouge pretty easily. I believe that is Jason Siemens right there behind him. So we are high up above the trees on this long straightaway till they get down here to the first chicane. Mark throwing that car around into the corners. And I tell you what, we'll take a ride with Mark for the rest of this lap. What do you say? Mark using a lot of track now going through the very high speed section here at Spa. Gonna see him probably wide open through these last couple corners. See him cranking on that wheel, getting the car to turn. And that is one heck of a job. One heck of a lap. Around the track, slots all the way up into the 5th position. However, 13 minutes left here in qualifying, and things are going to start heating up just a little bit more, as we have a lot of drivers out there trying to get their first time laps in. Looks like the 08 of Troy Banks. Newcomer, haven't seen very much of Troy, so we'll give him an opportunity to look good here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. Very, very slow through that final section there. Maybe just getting familiar with the track. We'll go now and jump up on board. Looks like Danny Hoekstra, he is slowing down a little bit now, speeding back up through a slower section of the track. The 91 of Hoekstra, he's going to show up, forgive me, he's going to show up as the 9 machine here today, as I came in to the track instead of just the booth. So I stole Danny's number here for today. Wanted to do what I could. Looks like Patrick Woodstrup in the 3 machine has been able to join us also. So that is going to put a lot of emphasis on this points battle as we watch these cars make their way around the track. Gonna throw up the points one more time for you here, as it looks like Hoekstra trying to warm the tires up just a little bit more. So here's your point standings once again. Patrick Charlton in a battle for the championship with the 79 of Thomas Ziegler. Cody Sandwith sitting in the 2nd position coming into today's final race here at Spa for the Belgian Grand Prix. Sandwith unable to make it to the track, so that's going to leave Ziegler the only man with the opportunity to get it done. Oh, we have some spins here, so we're watching our points for just a second. And there you see a few of those drivers. Mark Bruning, Jason Siemens right there battling with each other. Florian Needle, Carlos Cotal, Patrick Woodstrup, Richard Swaverly. All right there with each other. So a lot of things can shake up with our points as we finish out season number 2 here for the Formula I drivers. And want to take yet another moment just to say thank you to everybody at Formula I for being with me, being with us here at Turn 3 Racing Network and Next Gen Racing Productions. From myself, David Worrell, and everybody else at Turn 3 Racing Network, thank you. Do appreciate it. Look forward to seeing you in season number 3, when I believe there will be an upgrade, a little changing of the guard. These drivers have been discussing going to I believe it is the Renault 3.5. So look out for that next season here at Formula I. With about 9.5 minutes left here in qualifying, we're going to step away for just a brief moment here at Turn 3 Racing Network. So don't go anywhere. We will be right back. Thanks for staying with us here on Turn 3 Racing Network. Once again, up in the booth for the Formula I Belgian Grand Prix here at Spa. And I tell you what, it is going to be a great race. Have some great things shaping up here. Patrick Charlton, your season champion, should he... Let me rephrase that. Blah, blah, blah. Reverse, rewind, back on track, get it right. Here we go. Patrick Charlton, leading the points standings coming in to today's final race, has to deal with the 79 of Thomas Ziegler, as Ziegler is sitting on top of the speed charts right now here in qualifying. 30-minute open qualifying. Oh, and Calvin, I'm not even going to attempt Calvin's last name and mess that up, but Calvin goes around for a spin in his 19 machine. Now we see Florian Needle. He's trying to heat up his tires, but as I was saying, Ziegler, fastest man here in 30-minute open qualifying. He needs to win today's race and take a point for the fastest lap of the race and have Patrick Charlton finish 8th or worse if he is going to walk away with the championship today. Patrick, pretty much, if he finishes 7th or better, or let's just call it 6th to be safe, if he finishes inside the top 6, he will walk away today as the points leader, as the champion for season number 2 here for the Formula I drivers. And man, it's getting down to the nitty gritty. Just under 3 minutes left here in qualifying before we get set to hit the grid for today's race. There you see real timing for qualifying here. Charlton able to whittle away on that gap that Ziegler had down to just over 0.3 of a second. Jason Siemens also making a vie for the pole position here today, and trying to see, yes, Patrick Charlton is out on track. Ziegler out on track. Siemens out on track. Hoekstra out on track. Your top 5 on the speed charts all out on track, trying to get a little bit more out of their machines. So I tell you what, let's ride around now. Jump on back here with the 27 of Patrick Charlton. We'll take a lap around Spa here with Charlton. Charlton gonna abort the lap, so we'll go on board now with Hoekstra. Looks like Hoekstra is ending his lap as well. Take a look back here. Looks like Thomas Ziegler going to start his lap, but he is not going to be able to finish it before time runs out with only a minute left to go here in qualifying. That man on screen, Thomas Ziegler, will walk away as your pole sitter for today's race up through Eau Rouge, but he is not going to get back in time to have that lap count. So with that being said, that's pretty much what your qualifying order is going to look like. It will be officialized. Is that even a word, officialized? Probably not, because you probably just have to say will be made official. Yeah, yeah. Qualifying results will be made official here momentarily. Less than 10 seconds left to go here at Spa for the Belgian Grand Prix for Formula I season finale. This is season number 2. Looks like they're allowing a little bit of time for any of the drivers to finish their laps if they haven't already. But most of the drivers have already. Oh, Lord, sorry, excuse me. Have made their way to the paddock, getting changed over for race mode, getting all the qualifying setups and whatnots taken care of and done with and over. They will be set to go. Green flag racing here for the Belgium Grand Prix. And man, I mean, there's a lot of exciting little things going on in this race today. The points, not only at the front, but throughout the field, are going to matter for a lot of these drivers. A lot of these drivers vying for top 5 status, vying for top 10 status. So, everybody going to be out there trying to get everything that they can. And it looks like 14 drivers have made it to the track today. So, a little bit bigger field than what we seen at Detroit, I do believe it was. Unfortunately, I was here at Turn 3 Racing Network, ran into some scheduling issues, conflicts, was not able to make it to Detroit, was out of town, so was not able to bring that action to you. However, we are back live once again here at Spa Season 2 finale. Man, I don't know how much more build-up I can give this thing right here, because, I mean, what more could you ask for? Great track, great racing and overtaking opportunities throughout the track. What drivers are going to push the limits? Will Ziegler put the car in places he might not if he didn't need a race win? Will Patrick Charlton back out of a situation that he normally would stay in, just knowing he is on the cusp of securing this championship? So, a lot of drivers with a lot of interesting little deals going on. So, yeah, it's going to be one of those. It's going to be one of those. This start should be one for the ages, as we have our top 2 and the top 2 runners on the speed charts side by side, and they will be battling for the championship here today. And we're going to go ahead now, as some of these drivers begin to grid up. We're going to run through your qualifying order here for today's Belgium Grand Prix, starting row number 1 with the pole, the 79 of Thomas Ziegler, to his outside, the 27 of Patrick Charlton. Row number 2, the 1 of Jason Siemens, and the 136 of Austin. Row number 3, Danny Hoekstra with an, oh my goodness, don't know why it did that, so we'll go back to that one. There you go, Danny Hoekstra in the 9 machine, followed by the 3 of Patrick Woodstrup. Row number 4, the 2 of Florian Needle, in the 19 of Calvin. Row number 5 here today, the 61 of Mark Bruning, and the 63 of Lyndall McMurphy. Row number 6, the 8 of Carlos Cotau, and the 257 of Edgar Santinelli. Row number 7, the 38 of Richard Swavely, and the 08 of Troy Banks. And there you have it. That's me in the booth. I am not out there on track. My skills are not worthy. But I tell you what, these drivers are about to get things fired up and going here today for the Belgium Grand Prix. Waiting for the lights to come on. Lights are on. And we are green flag racing for the Belgium Grand Prix. Thomas Seeger with a great start. Patrick Charlton right beside him. Down into turn one. Looks like Seeger gets the position. Siemens with a move to the inside now. Jockeying for positions in the back of the field just a little bit as we are making our way tightly through the rest of these opening corners. Charlton all over the back of Seeger, looking to the outside now. They're heading down. Oh my goodness. I tell you what, already one heck of a race going on. It looks like Seeger's looking to the outside, Charlton to the inside. Not going to be able to get the job done. Seeger slides through, remains up in the first position. They're going to have to rethink that if they want that kind of racing just yet. Florian Needle looks like he's falling back to the 7th position. Seeger starting to make a little bit of time up over Charlton now. Top 4 all snaking through the field. Hoekstra back here just in front of a 3-4-5 car battle. There you see it. Florian Needle, Patrick Woodstrup, Mark Bruning, Lyndall McMurphy all battling it out right here towards the rear of the field. No drivers with any incidents through that initial lap, through the first few corners. That's always a good sight, always a good thing when you can make it around and through the first few corners without any incidents. But there's a lot of drivers all over each other still, as it looks like Patrick Woodstrup being passed on the inside by the 2 of Florian Needle, who goes to the 6th position now, battling with the 19 of Calvin. Florian able to make his way through that final section, put the power down. He's going to take 6th spot. Battle now, Mark Bruning right there on the tail of Woodstrup as well. A lot of these drivers right there, wheel to wheel. Ooh, out of turn number 1 there. Not a lot has changed up front. However, there is a slight battle brewing now between Jason Siemens and Austin. Austin right there in the 4th position, trying to take that spot away. Danny Hoekstra right there also lurking in the background. Should either of those drivers lock up or have an incident, Hoekstra will be there to try to capitalize. Looks like there is a small battle brewing back here as well. That is for the 9th and 10th position. Carlos Cotal in the 8 has the 9th. Lyndall McMurphy right behind him in 10th wants that position. A few drivers just behind them. Edgar Sanchinelli, Richard Swaverly, the 08 of Troy Banks, Patrick Woodstrup, all further behind your race leader. And Woodstrup with some issues, being shown about a half of a minute, 30 seconds behind your race leader already. Not a lot of time left here to go. 35 minutes left in today's race. 17 more laps or so around this great big old track here at Spa. And this battle between the 63 and the 8 just will not go away. all over each other's gearbox. And man, oh man, they are putting on one heck of a show. Looking up through, seeing if I see any more battles. Looks like most of the field has some gaps between them. Patrick Charlton in the 27 machine, still riding in the second position. Jason Siemens is third. Your top five looks a little something like that. Ziegler in first, Charlton second, Siemens third. Alston in the fourth spot, and Danny Hoekstra rounding out your top five. So there you see the gaps between them, the distance going on between all of these drivers as we are now looking off of the 8 machine of Carlos Cotau as he is trying to get up there and take the spot away from Florian in his 2 machine. Thomas Ziegler, your race leader. There you see 1.5 seconds. That's what that looks like, ladies and gentlemen. 1.5 second difference between your top 2 drivers, and that is what it looks like on screen. Doesn't look like much, doesn't sound like much, but it is a ton. You better believe that. Oh, Ziegler running a little bit wide there, getting into the sand trap some. He's going to have to watch doing that too many more times. That will allow Charlton to make a run, as these 2 drivers have just absolutely ran away from the rest of the field. Gotta go almost 7 seconds back from your race leader to find your third place runner, the one of Jason Siemens, as he is trying to close the gap but just not able to do much with it. Danny Hoekstra also struggling at the moment to get up there and battle Alston for that 4th position. Florian Needle with a little bit of a battle starting to brew. Oh, Carlos Cotau goes wide now. Carlos going wide just in front of Mark Bruning. That is 8th and 9th position, just behind these 2 drivers. Florian Needle in the 2 machine and the 19 of Calvin. Great shot of the drivers coming up over that curb. Mark having to deal with Lyndall McMurphy right on his gearbox as well right now, as they are working their way around the track to a downhill left-hander, then a little bit of sweeping corners, fast left-handers here. You can take it very wide, come around, take this second one. Don't want to get too far over there on that AstroTurf though. Slight corner into a small chicane, and then you will be back on the gas pretty heavily coming around this corner. All the drivers staying within the track right here. Great job by Calvin keeping his machine on track. Bending the corner here, long way around to this left-hander. Still almost wide open right now. Still wide open, making their way to the final corners. And then you will see him hard on the brakes here, making this right-hander hard onto the brakes, right back to the left, get the power down, accelerate out of the corner. Great job by Calvin, who's starting to close the distance just slightly on the 2 of Florian Needle. Looks like Patrick Woodstrup has made a pit stop. Hasn't been scored a lap down, but he has made a pit stop. Everything seems to be okay with Patrick back here, just struggling a little bit maybe One driver, unfortunately, has decided to come to the paddock and pack it up. That is the 08 of Troy Banks. He is going to find himself rounding out the field here today in the 14th spot. While all that is going on, man of the moment, Thomas Ziegert started in first, stayed in first, has led all 4 laps here today at Spa in the Belgium Grand Prix here in the season finale for the Formula I drivers. So not a whole lot of facts going on with Ziegert, as he is just still picking them up and putting them down. Gonna run through your field for you here, running in the 2nd spot. Started there, has stayed there. The 27 of Patrick Charlton doing what he's got to do in order to secure his championship here today. Back in the 3rd position, Jason Siemens, your top 3 all started exactly where they are and continue to run that way, I believe. Same thing here for Austin, started in 4th, has stayed in 4th. I believe that's going to be a common theme that we see working our way through the field here, all the way back to the 91 machine of Danny Holkstra. He started in 5th, has stayed in 5th. Now back to Florian. Florian able to gain a position on that initial start. Started in 7th, now running in the 6th spot. 19 has made up 1 spot as well. Started in 8th, now back up into the 7th position. But he has a side mirror full of this man, Mark Bruning, who has been a man on the charge, only made 1 position up so far, but now looking to take another side-by-side race in action. Not gonna challenge the move. Bruning up to the 7th position now, and that's going to move Calvin back into the 8th spot. 9th, however, goes to this man right here. We are on board looking down at the nose cone of the 63 of Lyndall McMurphy. Started in 9th, now running in 10th. Edgar Santinelli just behind them. Started in 12th, has made his way up to the 10th spot. Just behind him, the 38 of Richard Swavely, started 13th, running in 11th. And Carlos Cotau had a moment. That's what has happened. Carlos Cotau, big moment for him. No nose cone on his machine anymore. I hate to try to go to find that. That was a big moment to be missing an entire nose cone. So tough break for him. He's going to try to get that thing fixed up if he can and get back out there on track. But this man, we are watching 2.5 second lead over the 27 of Patrick Charlton, as we have only about 13 laps to go here. Just over the 25-minute mark left remaining in today's Belgium Grand Prix here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. Would like to give a great shout out to Haywood Elite Wrestling Club out of Bethel, North Carolina. All of your great aerial and blimp shots being brought to you today and provided to you by Haywood Elite Wrestling Club. So a lot of different things going on out there on track. A lot of different things happening with your leaders. Ziegert doing what he's got to do. Putting down the fast lap so far. Leading every lap. Oh, big moment for Ziegert. Just as I said that, let's watch that back one time. And just locked it up on that entry. My goodness. One more time here from the cockpit. You see him just clip the curbing just a little bit. And as he does that, that allows Patrick Charlton to come up and take the race lead away. Now Charlton sitting pretty. As far as his championship is concerned, he is now, well, he's always been in the driver's seat because he's, well, driving the car. But now in the driver's seat of his fate, if he wins the race, there is absolutely nothing anybody will be able to do. But he also does not have to win today's race. And there you see Carlos Cotal just out in front of your race leader. Carlos had a moment, went to pit road, had the car fixed on, beat and banged, nose cone replaced. He is back out on track, still running on the lead lap, but in danger of going a lap down as Patrick Charlton, your new race leader, puts one lap lead into his bag and is starting to set sail just a little bit on that 79 of Ziegler, who may have just ended any chance, any shot that he had to walk away with the points lead in the championship here today from Spa. Have to go a big distance back to reach Jason Siemens, running in the third position, about 11 seconds behind your top two. But he has got his hands full with the 136. Austin trying to track him down. Danny Hoekstra also right there as well, running in the fifth spot. He's got Florian Needle about 3 seconds behind him. So nothing to worry about for Hoekstra as he is trying to track down the 136. Down to about 12 laps, almost 11 here to go. Very big track. As I have said multiple times, great track, but this is a huge track. For almost 4.5 miles, 4.31 to be exact, is the mileage around this track. So just think about that, ladies and gentlemen out there watching here today on the Turn 3 Racing Network. These drivers are going almost 4.5 miles in barely over 2 minutes. That is absolutely moving. That is absolutely getting it. Track temp out there today at Spa seems pretty forgiving. Only 73 degrees. Air temp is 64, so not much of a difference. Track not really taking a lot of heat today, so that should have a little bit more grip out there for these drivers. Thomas Ziegler now starting to close that distance back in on Patrick Charlton. Distance is just over 1 second. If it gets any closer, we will come back and take an eye on that. Right now, we will give you your closest battle on track. That is for fourth position. Austin has it. Hoekstra wants it. Who's going to make the move? Looks like Hoekstra is making a move to the outside. Austin's going to give him the spot. Down into braking. No issues there. Move Hoekstra up into the fourth position. Meanwhile, up at the front, the 27 of Patrick Charlton was able to make his way by the 8 of Carlos Cotal, and Thomas Ziegler going to have to deal with him very quickly if he's going to want to do anything with Charlton. Battle still raging on between Austin and Hoekstra. That battle for 4th and 5th position on track. There you see him swapping it back and forth. While they are doing that, they are slowly losing it. Oh, big moment there. Let's go back and watch how tight that was one more time. That was a close moment for both of those drivers. Hoekstra locking up, coming back on track, almost into the side of Austin. That could have been a lot bigger than what it was. As we rejoin the field, Austin now has a pretty comfortable gap over Hoekstra as he is trying to make his way through the field here today. Laps are winding down in the Belgium Grand Prix. Not a lot of time for these drivers to get anything else done. They're going to have to be on it if they're going to want to get it. As Hoekstra now trying to track back down the 136 of Austin. Patrick Charlton with a lead, but it is shrinking very, very rapidly. Whoa, Ziegler. Really fast through that chicane, made up a ton of ground. And there you can see how hard he is pushing to try to come up here and steal the race lead away from Patrick Charlton after he gave it away with a slide and a lockup going over the curb, and that allowed the 27 of Charlton to come and take the race lead. He has led the past 3 laps, but Ziegler is the fastest on the scoring charts and has been tracking down Charlton ever since. The problem is gonna be, even if Ziegler gets by, he's gonna need Charlton to have some bad luck and fall through the field, as these drivers have put about 30 seconds or so back to the 8th place driver, the 19 of Calvin. So it's gonna take a lot to dethrone Charlton the way this race is unfolding here today at Spa. Only 9 laps left to go before we not only settle the podium for today's race, but also the top 3 in the point standings. At the end of today's race, the championship will be determined and decided. It is just a matter of who does what, and can Mark Bruning or Jason Siemens, can they find their way, or can they find a way to bring themselves up into the top 3 for the points championship? And we're gonna have to work with all the admins and try to get everything situated. So before we sign off here today, we will try to set your championship finishers here today from Spa, and it looks like Charlton still leading that 79 of Ziegler, but as you've seen, it only takes one mental mistake and the whole game can change from there. Ziegler's all over that rear gearbox of Charlton. Obviously, it's the rear gearbox because there isn't one in front, so that wouldn't work out very well. Rest of the field has some gaps developing between them. Other battle on track is between the 6th place and 7th place runners, Mark Bruning and Florian Needle. They are within about a half a second of each other, but with the battle for the race lead being so dynamic, we're going to stay up here as these drivers are battling side by side. Give the edge to Ziegler. What's going to happen under braking? Oh, Charlton slots in behind him as they make their way through the chicane. Ziegler pushing hard, maintaining that race lead right now, going through the rest of the field. And Ziegler stepping it out now. Has regained the lead, but we're going to go back. Oh, must have been a moment for Mark Bruning. He has fell back just a little bit, trying to look at the front suspension. Everything looks okay for Mark, but he must have had a moment. We'll take a look back, see if we see anything really quick. Mark was running up inside the top for, I believe, about 6th position. Now finds himself all the way back in 9th. So we'll just ride here for a second, take a look at some of the car replays with Mark. He runs a little bit wide right there. That doesn't look like it's going to be what the issue was. Camera's not capturing the moment there with Mark, so we'll jump back up live on board with him as battle for the lead is still raging on. So we're going to rejoin that as that now shakes itself out. Thomas Ziegler stepping away very quickly, 1 second over the second place runner Patrick Charlton. Jason Siemens in 3rd, Austin in 4th, Danny Hoekstra in 5th. Florian Needle in the number 2 machine finds himself in 6th. Oh, big moment there for Bruning, trying to put the power down. Almost looped the car. That could have been very, very bad. That could have been a moment that ended his day. Fortunately, able to keep the thing going straight, pointed in the right direction. We'll jump back up with now battle for 4th and 5th. Austin has the spot. Hoekstra in the 91. He wants it. As we are getting closer and closer to the end of today's race. Just a little over 12 minutes left. And as we wind down the laps here on Turn 3 Racing Network, gonna do a little bit of house cleaning for you before we step away for a side-by-side commercial break. 14 drivers gridded for today's race, made it through qualifying. We still have 13 cars running, 12 on the lead lap. Running in the 13th spot, the 8 machine of Carlos Cotal finds himself 1 lap down. The 08 of Troy Banks had some trouble, mechanical issues, and had to retire the car. So he will be scored in the last place for today's race. And with all that being said, we're going to step away right quick for a little bit of a commercial break. Don't go anywhere. You won't miss any of the action here on Turn 3 Racing Network. And thanks for staying with us, not going anywhere. A little bit of a momentary break for us here up in the booth at Turn 3 Racing Network. Once again, my name is David Worrell. Want to give a huge thanks and shout out to all the fans out there watching. I know all the drivers appreciate it out there on track. Great pass being made there by the 91 of Danny Hoekstra as he now gives a little bit of room to the 136 of Austin. As I was saying though, folks, thank you very much for sticking with us all season long here at Turn 3 Racing Network and Next Gen Racing Productions. I appreciate every single one of you. I know all these drivers do as well. Hoekstra now making his way into the 4th spot. Has a long way to go if he's going to catch up to Jason Siemens, who's got that podium spot, the final podium spot, pretty much locked up as he is about 4 seconds or so out in front of these two drivers battling now for sometimes it just does stuff like that. Oh, contact! Both drivers go around, contact being made. Let's take another look at this from our aerial coverage if we can. And I believe we're going to get blocked out here by some of the trees. Yeah, blocked out by some of the trees there. So we'll back up, take one more look at it from another advantage. From another vantage point. That's not going to do us any good. Let's look at this one right here. Let's see if we can find it on our crane cam. Big implications. Oh, no. And it looked like Austin had locked it up. Was on the inside trying to stay away and off of Hoekstra and ended up backing it into him. My goodness, that is not going to sit well with those drivers. There you see, just got loosened into that right rear. That's going to send Hoekstra around. He gets it straightened out. Florian Needle going through. Oh my. That's going to be very big, very hurtful as we are riding on board now with a hurt machine of Danny Hoekstra. He is trying to stay in front of that 136 still. 136 down through the inside on him. Able to blow it up that time. Lyndall McMurphy also right there behind these drivers. Man, oh man, that has got to be that has got to be a gut-wrenching feeling for the 9 of Hoekstra, as he is going to be struggling heavily here now to the end of this race. There you see him going through Eau Rouge, trying to stay in front of that 63 of Lyndall McMurphy up at the front. Nothing has happened. Your race leader, Thomas Ziegler, still has a 1.1 second lead over Patrick Charlton in the 27 machine, as they are still battling out all the way to the end here. As we get closer to the end of today's race, gonna stay up here up front until I see some more battles going out there on track. Looks like Thomas Ziegler has it pretty much in hand. Oh, gotta be careful there under braking. Don't want to have a big moment and slip up this late into the race. Only gonna have about 3 laps to go here in today's Belgium Grand Prix. Going through turn number 1, getting away great. So we will now bring you some of the sounds of Formula I here at Spa. Want to give a big shout out to all the guys working all the camera and audio for us here at Turn 3 Racing Network, bringing us all these great action shots and sounds here from Spa for the Belgium Grand Prix for the Formula I Season 2 finale. And it looks like Thomas Ziegler may have this one in the bag. However, Patrick Charlton, the man running in the second position right now, he looks to lock up the championship here today. No matter what happens, he has found himself running further through the field than what is needed, with Thomas Ziegler winning the race and receiving the fastest lap point. That meant that Charlton had to finish at least 7th or better, and he is doing so, running in the second position right now as the closing stages are upon us. Less than 2 laps left to go here from Spa. These drivers getting very, very close to beginning the final lap here at Spa, coming through the final few corners. Ooh, running a little bit wide there was Ziegler, but he is able to stay on it. Coming through the final chicane. Gonna cross the line this time by. One to go here today at the Belgium Grand Prix. Your white flag for today's race brought to you by the Blonde Bullet Motorsports comic book. Most of the field is set. Most of the positions are sorted out. Gaps between a lot of the drivers means most of the spots are pretty much spoken for, pretty much done with. We were just waiting for the field to make their way back around to the start-finish line to finish out today's Belgium Grand Prix here at Spa. And I tell you what, the man of the hour, your race winner, as long as everything goes smoothly here for these next few corners. Don't want to jinx them just yet, but I believe Thomas Ziegler coming through the fast section of this race course for the last time here today. You see him hard onto the brake to make this his final right left through the chicane, putting the power down, crossing the line first. Your race winner here today for the Belgium Grand Prix, the 79 of Thomas Ziegler. Thomas is actually stopping on track there. Got to be careful with these other drivers still out there running. But Thomas going back to the line to, well, Not really sure where Thomas went. That's a little bit interesting. Huh. Alright, well, while we wait for the rest of the field to finish their laps, we're going to step away for just a brief moment here at Turn 3 Racing Network. We will be back momentarily. And, yeah. And if I can figure everything out. Yeah, sorry about that. We will step away here now. We will be right back. Don't go anywhere. And thanks for rejoining us. Coming up next after your rundown of the finishing order, post-race interviews with your season champion. But before we get to that, let's go ahead and throw this at you. Finishing results for today's race. And looks like somehow Thomas Ziegler got a disqualification there at the end of the race for backing up on the track, so things may be a little bit out of order. We'll still give the race win, though, here today to Charlton. Here today to Ziger. Charlton will be walking away with second. Third will go to Florian Needle, while everything is all out of whack. Jason Siemens also being shown as DQing here at the end of the race. So we'll run it down this way for you, and we'll let everybody else sort it out. So it looks like Siemens should walk away. Let's go ahead and do this like this. Thomas Ziger walks away with the race win. Second position goes to the 27 of Patrick Charlton. Third would go to the one machine of Jason Siemens. Fourth will go to Florian Needle. Fifth will go to Calvin. Fifth will go to Lyndall McMurphy. Trying to keep it all in my head. Sixth position will go to, I believe, sixth. Yeah, sixth position will go to the 61 of Mark Bruning. Danny Hoekstra coming home in seventh. Eighth position will be Edgar Sanchinelli. Ninth will be Richard Swavely. 10th will be Patrick Woodstrip. 11th will be Carlos Cotau, followed by Austin. Rounding out the field will then be the 08 of Troy Banks. Things got a little bit wonky there with our finishing order, so do apologize for that, but let's go ahead and kick it off with your season number 2 champion, the man of the hour, Patrick. You got us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Well, Patrick, first and foremost, want to congratulate you on your season championship here today, showing you as the race winner. However, I think that's got some DQing after fact going on. We'll let the admin sort that out. But either way, no matter if you're first or second at the end of the race today, you still walking away with the big trophy.
Yeah, I'm super, super happy. I mean, this is my first ever league racing, and I've been on iRacing for 10 years, unbelievably, since I quit real racing. And I've really never taken it seriously until this year. And just huge thanks to Cody, my teammate, Thomas, who is the fastest driver in the league. He's crazy fast, and it's been a monumental effort to get up to his pace, or close to his pace. And it's taken a lot, but just really, really thrilled and happy to win.
Well, I know you don't want to look too far down the road. You want to relish this moment, live in the moment for a little while, enjoy your championship, enjoy the winning this year. But how concerned are you moving into season number 3, knowing that a car change is looming?
Pretty concerned. I had a quick go in the 3.5 for the first time a couple of nights ago, and it's a whole new ball game. So, Thomas, I know, has a lot of experience in that car, and a bunch of the other guys do too. So it'll be restart and figure out everything all over again.
All right. Well, I mean, today you pretty much knew walking in that even if Thomas were to win the race, have the fastest lap, you knew where you needed to be. You stayed inside of that cushion the entire race. Did you ever think about dropping away from the top and just being any more conservative, or did you approach this race like you would any other one?
Well, you always want to win, and I did, approach it a little bit more conservatively than than I would have. I had a bit more fuel on, and I was taking a tenth off here and there. Not that I think it made any difference. I think Thomas had 2/10 on me. I thought I really had him in practice, and then he dropped that 28-0 in qualifying, and I was like, wow, okay, just stick into second, follow him around, see if he makes a mistake. He did make one mistake. He nearly went into the wall, and I took the lead for a few laps. But I wasn't going to fight him. I was just once he got close, I was like, all right, I'll give him a little bit of a hard time, but I'm not going to go crazy trying to win. Although it was tempting.
Well, Patrick, man, once again, congratulations. Great job securing the championship here today. And before we let you ride off into the sunset with that giant trophy of yours, you want to give any shout-outs, thank yous, love yous, I do's, anybody out there watching?
Well, big thanks to yourselves and the Formula I crew, Jason for arranging the league, Marcus for sponsoring the broadcast, yourself, my teammate Cody, who sadly wasn't in this race. He had a pedal problem. Big thank you to Thomas. I've had a coach for the last few races, Suelo, who's been amazing and really brought me up to speed. And the guys who helped me build my motion rig, SFX, they're awesome as well. So yeah, really big thanks to all those guys.
All right, Patrick, man, well, you go enjoy it, and we will catch up with you soon, wherever. I don't know, maybe it'll be an oval. Who knows? We'll find out.
See. Thanks, David. Take care.
You too, bud. There you have it. That was your Season 2 champion, Patrick Charlton. And, man, I tell you what, there's not a whole lot left for us to do here at Spa. So, with that being said, we're going to go ahead and start rolling up the cords, heading on out of here. But look forward to some big news, big racing action coming to you from the Formula I drivers here on Turn 3 Racing Network. Once again, I am David Worrell, thanking you all for watching, liking, and subscribing. If you haven't already, go ahead and smash a thumbs up, click the bell over there, let us know what it is. You know what I'm saying? Other than that, we'll see you later.